Hey, how's it going, everyone? So I wanted to try something a little bit different today, and possibly for the next few weeks going forward. As you know, I think I mentioned in the email here that I've got a pretty busy 4 to 6 weeks ahead of me. I'm getting married in 2 weeks. We're going on our honeymoon, which will also be another 2 weeks, and then I'm also moving. So a lot of kind of balls up in the air, which doesn't leave me with a ton of time for writing and editing emails, articles, and things like that. However, one thing I was thinking about trying to transition to later was actually doing a little bit more video for you guys. It makes it a little bit more interactive. You can finally put my face to it as you're going, and my voice to it as you're keeping up with the emails and everything else going. And I'm hoping that I can give you a little bit more quality content because you actually have that visual part of it too. So in the emails, there might be things where it's just me talking to you here like so, and there may also be some videos of, specific tips on, how to improve technique of exercise or anything like that, or how to perform a specific exercise, how to troubleshoot things, etc., etc. The idea here is just, like I said, to give you more quality content, but also in a way that is a little bit easier for me time-wise, and just kind of experiment with it. If you hate it, let me know, and we'll go back to the old format. If you love it, let me know, and maybe we'll keep this around for a little bit. So in today's video, one of the things that I wanted to go over are some tips for just helping people with dinner time eating and portion control. This is an area where I think a lot of people get themselves in trouble, especially when their goal is fat loss. At the end of the day, they're ravenous because maybe they didn't either eat enough throughout the day, or maybe they did eat a lot, but we're just used to eating big meals at dinner now. And so how do we control that? How do we make sure that we don't go over that daily calorie allotment, or that general idea of where we need to be in our wheelhouse, so that we don't shatter all of our hard work in the gym, and everything else that we're doing, and can make sure that we're still in a calorie deficit. So there's a couple quick tips that I like to give to my clients that they found seems to be pretty effective. One of the ones that it's very simple, but in my experience, like I said, has been really successful, is just making sure that you put your leftovers away before you sit down to eat dinner yourself. And in some cases, people will put their leftovers away before they even serve themselves. The reason you do that, if you've got all your leftovers put away, they're in the fridge, in the Tupperware, before you sit down, the chances of you getting up to have a second plate of whatever that dinner is that you made, even if it's a lot of great healthy foods, remember that's still extra calories. The chances of you going into the fridge, taking all the leftovers back out, putting them back on your plate, and then reheating them in the microwave is probably much slimmer than it would be if they had just been sitting out on the stove, still somewhat warm, and much more easily accessible. So again, try putting those leftovers away. Like I said, it's just enough to kind of break that momentum of when you want to go right to the next thing, and give you pause for a second and go, do I really want to have that second plate? For some people who have a hard time kind of eyeballing portions, or just generally end up, taking 2 or 3 scoops of rice instead of 1 on their plate, etc. I like to suggest to put your leftovers away before you even start serving yourself. So now you have a general idea. You can't go, once that's back in the fridge and everything is put away, what do you're going to again go back into the fridge and get more just because you wanted that extra half a scoop of rice or whatever it is. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And most people, like I said, that's enough to kind of break that momentum of them just mindlessly putting food on their plate. But this brings me to my second tip. And my second tip for portion control is to follow the hand size guide. I'm going to put my hand back up, sorry. Hand size guide here. One of the leaders in kind of nutrition, this company called Precision Nutrition, put out a great, really simple, easy way to gauge what the correct portion sizes for each meal should look like for men and for women. And it's all based on your hand, so you don't have to worry about, do I have a food scale, do I have this, do I have that? Now again, this is a rough estimate, but it's a great way to kind of estimate healthy eating habits for you and healthy portion sizes. And so they're like so. I'll start with the women, and then guys, you're basically just going to take everything and double it up. So for vegetables, because we want to make sure we're eating our vegetables, you want 1 fist size serving of vegetables. And again, so look at your fist. Okay, perfect. That's the size that you're going to put on your plate. Now, vegetables are a type of carbohydrates, but we're going to separate them for the purposes of this portion control exercise with your plate. So we've got our fist size serving of vegetables. I want you to look at your hand now, hand open. That palm there, that palm size is your lean protein. So whether it's beef, chicken, fish, whatever, that's what you're going to put on your plate. And again, guys, we're going to double everything up. For carbohydrates, things like healthy carbs that are not refined, starches and things like that, but things like wild rice, quinoa, even if it's breakfast Ezekiel bread, things like that, we're looking at 1 cup size hand here. So 1 cup size, just like so. And again, it's not the whole hand here. It's not the palm. It's just a cup size version of this. 1 cupped hand. And lastly, moving on to our fats, we're going to go with 1 thumb size. I'm just getting used to the camera, obviously, here. 1 thumb size serving. That's from the base of my thumb to the tip of my thumb, and about the same width, too. So if we're thinking about like almonds, it's a couple almonds, a couple peanuts. It's not a handful. I'll say that again. It's not a handful of nuts. It's like a thumb size. If you're cooking with olive oil, that counts, remember. And that would be about a teaspoon of olive oil, maybe a smaller 1 or 2 slices of avocado with it, not the half the avocado, etc. Now, again, all these are great healthy foods, but there are also a lot of calories too. So remember that as you go through everything, especially fat calories, which are, for every gram of fat, you've got 9 calories. They're more than double the amount of calories that you get from 1 gram of protein or carbohydrates. Lastly, and this is more for the people that tend to like to eat sweets and desserts after dinner, although if you find yourself pausing and then going back for a snack as you're watching TV a couple hours later, this might be helpful for you too. And that is right after you're done with dinner, brush your teeth. Brush your teeth as if you were going to bed. The reason that you do this, if you've ever had to try to eat something sweet or anything like that right after brushing your teeth, it's disgusting. Ever do that when you were a kid? Like brush your teeth and then immediately have a glass of orange juice? It's the worst thing ever. It's like you feel like somebody poisoned you. Brush your teeth. 1, your dentist will love me for it, or you for it rather. And 2, again, it's probably going to make you think twice, because if you do end up having that dessert, then crap, I got to go brush my teeth again too. And it's enough of that pause where you get that chance to stop for a second to think, do I really want to add these extra calories? Now, if you do, and maybe you've earned it and you've got that to spare, and got that ice cream in the fridge that's your favorite flavor, have at it. Like I said, as long as you've accounted for it throughout your day, because again, if your goal is fat loss, we want to make sure that you're in a calorie deficit. So I hope you guys found this video helpful for you. If you have any feedback at all, please let me know. This is just the first of many, hopefully. But again, if you hate it, tell me. And when I get back from the honeymoon and everything and life is settled down, I'll go back to the original email format. Take care.